Alright guys, welcome back to the 98th episode of this review series where I review everything in Fortnite Save the World. For this episode, I'm going to be doing a review on Cottontail Eagle Eye. So first, let's see her standard perk, which is Unexpected Departure. Phase Shift leaves 3 egg bombs which deal 18 base damage to nearby enemies. And then the commander perk, Unexpected Departure Plus. Phase Shift leaves 3 egg bombs which deal 55 base damage to nearby enemies. And I'll be showing you guys the best hero loadout with her as the commander. But first, let's get on to the weapon I'm using with her. The weapon I'm using is a Storm King's Onslaught, and let's see what perks I could put on this. So this first one, you cannot change, is fires homing projectiles that seek out the target's head. Aiming down sights increases the lock-on range from 4 tiles to 12, but decreases fire rate by 50%. And you may think with this, you should go with a headshot build, but actually you shouldn't, because the crit chance is already pretty high, and added with the crit rating will make that even higher, so you're gonna hit a lot of crits. And then also the headshot multiplier is only 50% more than the normal damage, so that's not even that big at all. That's not as much damage as it would be than hitting a crit. So for the second perk, we got either crit damage, cooling rate, crit rating, damage, or fire rate. And cooling rate isn't needed because in like every situation, crit damage, just doing more damage is way better than the cooldown speed unless it gets to like 5 seconds or longer, because then you'll be out of the battle for too long and you're probably gonna die. But it's not 5 seconds, it's probably, I think it's like only 3 seconds, so that's short enough where it would cool down fast enough so you don't die. And next we got crit rating, and the best way to build a crit build is to have 1 crit rating and as much crit damage as you can possibly put on the weapon. And if I put crit rating here, then this third perk would have to be crit damage, but it doesn't have a crit damage, so that would be a whole waste of a perk. So yeah, just go with crit damage on this one. And then next we got damage, and damage doesn't do as much damage as crit damage, so don't pick that. And then fire rate, it just makes it heat up faster and do less damage, so that's just making your gun weaker. And then for the third perk, we got crit rating and damage, fire rate, headshot damage, or heat capacity. And as I said before, damage doesn't do as much damage as a crit build would, so I went with the crit rating instead of damage. And then fire rate is just counterintuitive. Headshot damage, as I said before, doesn't do as much damage as a crit build would. And heat capacity just lets you shoot for longer before it overheats, but you'll be doing less damage since you don't have a crit rating, so that's just a waste of ammo. And next for the element, we got energy or physical, and physical is good against enemies with no element. So that means like any mist monster, or if you're just going against any enemy with no element, go with physical. But I'm gonna go against anything that has an element, so like nature, fire, or water, go with energy, because that does 75% damage to the elemental enemies, whereas physical would only do 50% damage. So yeah, I'm going with energy on this one. Then for the fifth perk, we got crit damage, damage to mist monsters and bosses, damage or headshot damage. And I'm not only going for mist monsters and bosses, I'm going against any enemy. So I just went with crit damage instead of mist monsters and bosses, because it all around does more damage to any enemy instead of just the mist monsters. And then damage, as I said before, crit damage does more damage than damage, and headshot damage is the same way. And then for our last one, we got damage to mist monsters and bosses, fire rate, or impact. And there's no crit damage on this, so I went with the next best thing, which is damage. And damage to mist monsters and bosses isn't as good as damage because I'm going against any enemy, as I said before, instead of just the mist monsters. And then fire rate isn't as good because you're just shooting faster and doing less damage, so that's just wasting bullets. And then impact just makes enemies take more knockback, and you will need them to take more knockback if they're dead, and if you're doing more damage, they'll be dead faster. Alright, now for the hero loadout. For the team perk, I have Underdog, And what that does is for each hero of epic or higher rarity, increases healing received by 2.5% for each nearby enemy. And this is really good because the more enemies are nearby, you'll be taking a lot more damage, but also you'll be healing a lot more, so it just basically cancels out. And then for the support team, we got Phase Cannon from Field Agent Rio. And what she does is using Phase Shift causes your next ranged weapon shot to fire a Phase Pulse, dealing 31 base energy damage and piercing enemies. Switching or holstering weapons removes the effect. So this means whenever you Phase Shift, you'll be doing a lot more damage and a lot more AoE. So like if you Phase Shift and there's a bunch of enemies in front of you, you could use your Phase Pulse and it'll go through the enemies, so you can hit one or two or maybe like all of them in the line, and it's added to your original bullet, so it'll just be doing a lot more damage. And then next we got Blaze of Glory from Gunblazer Saldi, and what he does is Phase Shift increases pistol and SMG damage by 35% for 4 seconds. And this is really good because it's pretty explanatory. You just Phase Shift and do a bit of extra damage for 4 seconds, and then you reload, Phase Shift again, and you get that extra damage. And then next we got Make It Count from Beetlejuice, and what she does is increases pistol and SMG critical damage by 75%. SMG bonus does not stack with assault critical damage. And this basically makes it so your pistol does extra crit damage, and we got a crit build on the pistol, so yeah, just extra damage whenever you hit those crits. And then we got Phased Out from Flash AC, and what he does is decreases a Phase Shift cooldown by 25%, so you'll be able to Phase Shift a lot more during the battle. And yeah, then we got Survivalist from Survivalist Jonesy or Birthday Brigade Jonesy, and they both do the same thing, which is eliminations heal you for 39 base health over 3 seconds. Duration refreshes with additional eliminations. So whenever you get a kill, you get health back, and with Underdog, if there's more enemies nearby, you'll get a lot more health back. So just keep getting those kills and you'll keep getting that health. The gameplay you're seeing in the background is a par level 132 eliminate and collect mission. But anyway, first let's talk about her abilities. Firstly, she's got Teddy, which without the proper upgrades and the hero loadout, it doesn't really do that much damage, and it has a pretty long cooldown, so I honestly didn't really use it that much, or like at all. And then next we got Shockwave, which is pretty good for AoE. It just zaps all the nearby targets and stuns them, so then you could take them out pretty easy, or get out of situations where there's too many enemies around and you just need to get out to recuperate. And then lastly, we got Phase Shift, which goes along with her Commander ability. So it's just whenever you press a button, you go in the direction you're already moving. So like if you're moving left, you press a Phase Shift, it'll teleport you a bit to the left, or like whatever direction you are moving. And then with her main Commander perk, it drops eggs where you were originally standing. So like if you're in the middle of a horde, then you could Phase Shift out of it and drop eggs on it, and the eggs explode doing damage. So that's pretty good. If there's like a bunch of Husk or Husklings around, then you can kill all of them. And then Husk and Mist monsters, they are gonna be quite a challenge because it doesn't really do that much damage. So you're just gonna have to mainly just spam that pistol and you'll be golden. But anyway, since you have to mainly rely on the pistol instead of her Commander perk, this ability, it's all around not really that good. So like the damage, it's alright. It's not really a great character for like endgame content, but I'm sure in like Stonewood or Plankerton, this would be a pretty good hero. So I'd say if you're in those areas, like in Canny Valley, it'll get a bit tougher, but I think it could still do the damage in there. But like Twine Peaks and later in the Twine, it becomes outclassed by a lot of heroes, and by Twine Peaks, you're gonna have a lot more heroes, so you're gonna have a lot more options for your hero loadout. So all around, if you're in Twine, don't pick her up unless you're like trying to add her to your collection, because she's all around kind of dog. But if you're in the early areas, she is pretty good. But anyway guys, if you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because I do these review videos where I review everything in Fortnite Save the World 2 days a week. And also like, comment, and share so that more people can see my videos. But anyway guys, I'll see you next time.